Are you stuck trying to install a package from a private repository only to be met with an authentication error? It can be incredibly frustrating, but don't worry, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to tackle this npm authentication error together. I completely understand how annoying it is when you're trying to get your build server up and running and an authentication error pops up out of nowhere. You're definitely not alone in this. Many developers face this issue when working with private repositories. Here's the specific situation we're addressing. One user reported an error while running npm install on a build server. They received a message saying fatal, authentication failed for hts some repo.git. Sound familiar? If you're facing this issue, let's dive into the solutions. So, what causes this authentication error? It usually happens when the credentials for accessing the private repository are missing or incorrect. We'll walk through the steps to ensure your credentials are set up correctly. And stick around. I have a crucial tip at the end that will help you manage your npm packages more effectively. To resolve the authentication error, the user should first ensure that they have the correct access credentials for the private repository. This typically involves using a personal access token instead of a password. Next, the user needs to configure their Git to use the personal access token. This can be done by updating the remote URL in the package.json file to include the token. After updating the URL, the user should clear any cached credentials that might be causing conflicts. This can be done by running a specific command in the terminal. Finally, the user can attempt to run the npm install command again. This should allow the installation to proceed without the authentication error. Fun fact, did you know that the first version of npm was released in 2010? It has come a long way since then, but authentication issues still seem to stick around. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach to resolve the authentication error is to access your private repository using SSH. This method involves using a deploy key or a trusted key that you register with your Git hosting service, allowing your CI server to access the repository securely. Additionally, you should configure your ssh/config file to ensure that npm uses the correct SSH key. This setup is crucial for seamless access during the npm install process. Here's that crucial tip I promised. Always use personal access tokens for private repositories instead of passwords. They are more secure and easier to manage. And there you have it. You should now be able to resolve that pesky authentication error. Remember, keeping your credentials secure is key. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and don't miss our next video on optimizing your npm workflow.